topic to be discussed is the dental ceramics. What are ceramics? Ceramics is an inorganic compound with non-metallic properties, typically consist of oxygen and one or more metallic or semi-metallic elements like aluminum, calcium, magnesium, silicon, sodium, tin, titanium, zirconium, that is formulated to produce the whole or part of the ceramic based dental prosthesis. What are the question is relatively asked to you would be define ceramics, classify ceramics, and discuss the or difference between the ceramic and ceramo-metal alloys. That can be a question that is routinely asked to the secondary students. Classification. The first classification is according to the composition. It can be either pure alumina, pure zirconia, silica glass, lucite based glass ceramic, lithia based glass ceramic. Then according to the use or indication, it can be classified as anterior, posterior, crowns, veneers, post and core, fixed partial denture, stained ceramic, glazed ceramic, metal ceramic. Then according to the processing method, it can be classified as sintering, partial sintering and glass infiltration, CAD-CAM and copy milling. Then according to the firing temperature, the ceramics can be classified as ultra low fusing, medium fusing and high fusing. According to the microstructure, they can be classified as glass, crystalline containing glass. Then according to translucency, they can be classified as opaque, translucent, transparent. Classification according to the varieties used like core porcelain, opaque porcelain, body of the dentine porcelain, gingival porcelain, enamel porcelain, color fits, that is the pigments which are added in ceramics, glazed porcelains. Composition is mainly feldspar, that is available in three varieties of aluminosilicate, either potash, soda or lime feldspar. It forms a clear colorless glass. It is a basic glass former. It acts as a flusk, matrix and a surface glaze. Alumina, it replaces some silica in the matrix. It gives strength and opacity and increases the viscosity of the porcelain. Kaolin, it is a hydrated aluminosilicate. It is acting as a binder. It increases the opacity and shrinkage during the firing. The next one is the quartz, which is a refractory material. As the name indicates, it doesn't change even if after withstand the high temperature. It provides strength and hardness to the porcelain. Boric oxides are the glass modifiers which decreases the viscosity, lowers the softening temperature of the glass. It forms of its own glass network. Various color pigments are used for the ceramic for different shades of the ceramic. Like ferric oxide is used as a brown color, cuprous oxide and copper oxides are used for green, titanium oxide is used for yellowish brown, manganese oxide is for lavender, and cobalt oxide is for blue. Sometimes MCQ can be asked to you on this particular point for the color pigments. Fabrication, the process for fabrication includes first one is the preliminaries, then second one is condensation, third is the firing procedure, and fourth one would be the cooling. Preliminaries means the application of the porcelain is mixed with water in a special liquid to form a thick slurry, and then it would be applied to a platinum foil. The next step would be the condensation. There are four methods for the condensation. What is condensation? It is a process of packing powder particle together and removing excess of water from that particular mass is called as condensation. For that, four methods are implemented. The first one is the spatulation, second one would be the brush technique, third one would be the vibration technique, and fourth one would be the ultrasonic method. As the name indicates, the spatula is used, the brush is used, vibrations are used, and the ultrasonic ultrasonic vibrations are transmitted through a electrically generated machine which reduces the water content of that particular mass. Then the firing procedures are depending on the stages of firing, can be either low bisque stage, medium bisque stage or the high bisque stage. This is the ceramic furnace where the muffle is there and you are supposed to keep your ceramic here for the baking of that particular prosthesis. Then the maximum kind of volumetric shrinkage occurs during the high bisque stage, where the liquid is highly viscous and it retains its shape for some time. If the heating is prolonged, the liquid gradually flows under the gravity, that is called as pyroplastic flow, and the article loses its sharp corner and its sharp shape. So the next step would be the cooling, where the muffle chamber is gradually cooled according to the manufacturer's instructions for the porcelain to undergo uniform shrinkage to minimize the formation of micro cracks. Properties of feldspathic ceramic, which is chemically inert, having an excellent biocompatibility, low coefficient of thermal expansion, nearly same as that of a tooth. It is a good thermal insulator. It has an excellent aesthetic property, but there are some inadequate or unrequired mechanical properties there, which is highly brittle. The feldspathic ceramic is highly brittle. It has a lower shear and diametric tensile strength. It has a low compressive strength. It absorbs small amount of water and also affects the mechanical properties of the material, and it has a greater surface hardness than tooth. So there are chances for causing of abrasion, and the wear of the opposing natural tooth is always there. So the student should know the comparison between the ceramic, ceramometal and the metal restorations, which can be asked to you as a part of an LAQ for your examination. In view of aesthetics, the all ceramic restorations are the most aesthetic as compared to ceramometal and the metal restoration. In case of strength, the metal has the strongest kind of a strength as compared to ceramic and the metal ceramic restoration. In terms of resistance to chemical attack, the all ceramic restorations are relatively good, followed by ceramometal and then metals. The ceramic materials have a brittle and a low impact strength as compared to the other materials. The ceramic has a good thermal and electrical insulators. Ceramometal has a combined property, whereas in case of metals are good thermal and electrical conductors, whereas all ceramics are good thermal and electrical insulators. All ceramics are excellent biocompatible, and metals have an adverse effect on the tissues, and ceramometals are in between the metals what are they are going to use. The optical properties that is aesthetic properties of this all ceramic is relatively excellent as compared to ceramometal and metal, that is not very good. The deformation, very little plastic deformation can happen in case of ceramic. Metal ceramic has a combined property, and the metal has a tendency to sag depending on the creep value of that particular material. COT, that is coefficient of thermal expansion of ceramic, is low, whereas in case of ceramometal it is a combination, and the COT of metal is relatively high. And in terms of preparation, the all ceramic is the least conservative preparation, and the most conservative is the metal, and the ceramometal falls in between both of them. In case of a ceramic, occlusion is difficult to establish because it is all ceramics are relatively fragile as compared to ceramometal and the metal, where the modification of the occlusion can be done by the different kind of finishing and polishing tools, what the Dr. Kishore Mahal has discussed right now. The tensile and the stress strength are less as compared to metal in case of an all ceramic, whereas the metal and tensile strength are high in case of a metal. All ceramic restorations are the most expensive, followed by ceramometal and then by the metal. There are some newer advances for the dental ceramics are Dicor and Dicor MGC, pressable, glass ceramics, Inceram, Procera Enceram, Procera Allceram, Cadcam ceramics, Zircon. The next topic or the last topic for this presentation is the implant biomaterials. The implant biomaterials, how will you define it? It is defined as a glossary or prosthodontic term as any substance other than a drug that can be used for any period of time as a part of a system that treats, augments or replaces any tissue, organ or function of the body. What are biotolerant kind of a material? Biotolerant material that are not necessarily rejected by the body, but they are surrounded by a fibrous layer on the form of a capsule. What are bioinert materials? The materials that allows close adaptation of bone on the surface leading to contact osteogenesis. What are bioactive materials? Bioactive materials that allows formation of a new bone onto the surface of a metal, that is an implant. But here one more additional thing is going to happen as compared to bioinert, that it has an ion exchange with the host tissue leading to the formation of chemical bond along with the bony interface, that is called as a bonding osteogenesis. This is the chart which shows the biological biocompatibility in terms of biotolerant materials are gold, cobalt, chrome, stainless steel, zirconium, niobium, tantalum, but bioinert materials are commercially pure titanium and titanium alloys, that is in titanium 6 aluminum 4 vanadium. And bioactive materials are like hydroxyapatite, tricalcium phosphate, calcium phosphate, fluorapatite, and others. And the polyethylene, polyamide, and the various polyurethane, polymer-based materials are there, but these are biotolerant. So ideally, they should not be used. We should consider the situation from bioinert material towards a bioactive material. So nowadays, in dental implantology, whatever the material is there, they are either titanium-based alloy, and they are coated with any of the coating of this particular bioactive material, maybe either hydroxyapatite, tricalcium phosphate, or calcium pyrophosphate is there. So what are the factors through which we can select the implant biomaterial? The factors which are there is the biocompatibility of this particular material, like the titanium has a corrosion resistance property because it readily forms the titanium oxide layer when it is exposed to the any kind of surfaces. So cytotoxicity of the corrosion products is relatively low or negligible in case of titanium implants and titanium alloys. Metal contamination is not there in case of a titanium. A very rare, once in a 1 million cases, metal contamination cases can be seen. The physical and the mechanical properties of the material in terms of the strength should be considered for placing an implant, and modulus of elasticity of that particular material to be selected as an implant biomaterial should be similar to the bone. The modulus of elasticity is similar to the bone, so that in a way the bone flexes, the same material should be flexed. If there is a difference in flexing of the material as compared to the bone, the more amount of the forces are going to transmit on the bone, and the chances for resorption kind of activity would be going to happen, or osteoclastic activity around the implant is going to happen by a pressure necrosis. The last considered to be the specific gravity, and why titanium is supposed to be the most accurate implant biomaterial till date, because it has a low specific gravity. The volume of the implant may be like this, but weight would be relatively less. So the volume is this and the weight is relatively very small, that favors the specific gravity in case of an titanium, in case of an implant.